Shalom. Give all praise, honor, and glory going to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation to all you occupants out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity, by way of the highways and byways, going on the streets teaching and preaching, and also by way of the internet. Shalom to you very few sisters, you aquafters out there listening and learning. Going back to the names, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father name, Bahashem, Salakia. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father name, which means He is or He exists. Bahashem means coming in the name of. And Yahweh Shai, what the world innately calls Jesus Christ. His name is not Jesus Christ. It's not Jesus Christos. It's not Yeshaya. It's not Yeshua. It's not Ashaya. It's not Jesus Christos. It's not none of that. All right. Yehoshua. It's not none of that. It is Yahweh Shai. All right, which means He saves or He delivers. All right, so He is the Savior or He is the deliverer. All right, of the nation of Israel. So this your brother Nayap, and I'm back with another lesson. This one is more of a. This one gonna be quick. And basically, what we gonna be going into is this book that you see right here on the screen. All right, they saying in this book they like to say Africans, but we already know that's the Southern tribe. All right, we're not Hamites. All right, this man that you see on the left-hand side, it's not a Hamite. All right, he's a Negro. All right, so-called Negro. All right, the Southern tribes. All right, so you got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. This look like it may be a Judite. All right, maybe a Benjamite, maybe a Levite. All right, but it look like a Judite. All right, which would be the so-called Negroes. Benjamin, which is the so-called Trinidadians and Jamaicans. All right, and then you got Levi, which is the Haitians. Okay, the one on the right, as you see, his skin is about as dark as the brother on the left, as if it basically is. And as you can see, and that's the northern tribe, maybe the tribe of Gad. All right, which would be the so-called Native Americans, or it might be Seminole. All right, Seminole Indians, tribe of Rueben. Might, it's the northern tribe for sure, though. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read a couple pages of this book. I'm not gonna be real long on this. It's just like a quick hit, so this might be like a 10-15 minute lesson. But this book is called William Loring Cats, Black Indians. All right, which nobody is black. All right, or different. The Israelites are different shades of brown. All right, now you may even have Israelites that look so-called white. All right, through the mixing of the Caucasians, so-called Caucasians, the Edomites. All right, Esau, Edom. These the self-proclaimed white people. All right, but anyway, I want to get to this book. In the chapter that I'm going to read, which chapter 3 go into the Dutch and Maroon people, which everybody know the Maroon is a different shade of basically brown. All right, but the type of words they like to use in this book is like red and black. The only person that's red on this planet is Esau, Edom. All right, the self-proclaimed white man. All right, Genesis 25:25. So I'm gonna read this, and then Lord willing, this is edifying, and I'll probably bring out like two scriptures at the end, one or two scriptures at the end, but just to show you how this devil move. All right, so I'll be starting in chapter 4. Okay, so this is the Black Indians, a hidden heritage. Chapter 4. The chapter 4 title is called "The Finest the finest looking people I have ever seen. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it. I'll turn down this a little bit as well. So it says first came one or two at a time. It says strong young men and women beating a path from slavery into the thickest marshes of Florida. All right. So it was into Florida. It says soon others joined them, sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, then the elderly and very young. It says parents carried babies or children, some injured during escape. Daring men returned to Georgia and Alabama to fetch mothers, fathers, wives, children, and friends who needed help in reaching freedom. It says Florida proved unique in United States history, a location where large communities of ex-slaves could live hidden from enemy eyes. It says escaped slaves living as maroons, okay, became Florida's first settlers. All right, so maroons. Um, Let me just see if I can get a quick. So maroon is like a reddish brown, all right, brown reddish type color. All right, like a dark brown mixed with like a red. All right, if you can. Matter of fact, I'll get it. Hold on. I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. This is what we gonna do. We gonna do this. It says maroon communities in Florida. That's crazy. Uh, See, it's like a burgundy red. All right, let me get this. 50 Shades of Maroon. All right. So as you can see down right here, it says, or it says burnt maroon. All right. You got burnt maroon. You got deep maroon. You see, like a brownish type color, vintage maroon. All right. You got caput. All right. Mortum. All right. Just another maroon. All right. Dark maroon. All right. So you got different shades. All right. This brownish red type color. Okay. Let me see what happens if you type in skin color. See, first thing to pop up is this. All right. See chocolate, but sometimes you might have like this reddish hue to you. Okay. And she cute too. All right. This couple sisters. Just trying to show you. It's another good one. If it can if it load in. See? Kind of like a reddish brown. All right, type. All right. Just giving you some examples. All right. So anyway, Let me go back to the book. All right. So I'm gonna read where I left off. It says, daring men return to Georgia and Alabama to fetch mothers, fathers, wives, children, and friends who needed help in reaching freedom. Paragraph 2, it says, Florida proved unique in United States history, a location where large communities of ex-slaves could live hidden from enemy eyes. Escaped slaves living as maroons became Florida's first settlers. All right, so these were Florida's first settlers. It says, dense jungles, high grass, deadly reptiles, alligators, hordes of insects, and tropical diseases waited for all who entered. Now, what does that sound like? Okay, what does that sound like in Florida? Well, I already pulled it up for us. Okay. Let me click on this. It says South Florida is the region of Florida that best matches your description of dense jungles, high grass, reptiles, alligators, and insects. All right, it says more specifically the Everglades National Park and Big Cypress National Preserve are excellent examples of such areas. These protected areas contain a variety of habitats, including freshwater marshes with tall sawgrass, cypress swamps, and tropical hardwood hammocks, all right, which are dense tree islands in Caribbean origin flora, all right. They talk about these ecosystems are home to a diverse range of animals, including a significant population of reptiles, such as the iconic American alligators, and even crocodiles, which are unique to this region in the United States. It says snakes, including venomous cottonmouths and various species of turtles are also, like snapping turtles, are also prevalent. The Everglades also teem with insects playing a crucial role in the ecosystem. Okay. It talks about the swamp. It says Big Cypress National Preserve in particular is a large freshwater swamp ecosystem characterized by cypress swamps, marl prairies with high grass, pine lands, hardwood hammocks, and coastal estuaries. It is known for its diverse plant and animal life, including an endangered Florida panther, bald cypress, American alligators, river otters, and a variety of birds. All right, so that fits it all the way. Okay, completely. And even if you do a deeper look, you know, now I'll show you this as well. All right, this is an image. I'm showing y'all this because this is where DJT or Trump, Sleazy E, is putting all our people. All right, alligator, Alcatraz, right? This is what this devil is doing. Hold on, let me go back. I just want to go to images. Okay. These is the type of areas. Okay. You got that area, right? Here go another one. This was off of Facebook. You got that little area, all right? You got all kinds of areas. All right, you got this. My phone, my bad. My phone ain't focusing in. There you go. All right, you got these type of areas as well. All right, this is what it's talking about, and this what the slaves was. All right, the maroons, our people. All right, the Israelites. Okay, now I'm gonna type in something else. All right, let's type in there we go, alligator Alcatraz, right? And look, see, okay. When you go to all, let me see if they give me an AI spin to it. They ain't give me one. I put in the location. It says Alligator Alcatraz is located at the Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport with the Big Cypress National Preserve. All right. It said Ochope, Florida. It says specifically within the Everglades area. It's situated roughly 43 miles west of Miami. All right. The facility is described as being in a remote, swampy area known for alligators and pythons. So you see what this devil is doing? All right. So I'm going to get back to the book. But I just wanted to show you that this is important to know these things. This is historical. And this devil know what he's doing. All right. It says dense jungles, high grass, deadly reptiles, alligators, hordes of insects, and tropical diseases waited for all who entered. Not chapter 3. Paragraph 3. It says these conditions also protected Africans, which it wasn't Africans, it was just Negroes. I'm gonna say Negroes or Southern Tribe Israelites. Okay. These conditions also protected Negroes. I'm just gonna say Negroes. All right, so I'm just gonna say the Southern Tribe. These conditions also protected Southern Tribe from European invading forces. It says historian Joseph Apolla has written. Flip the page. Has written politically, Florida was in the hands of its new inhabitants. That it was colored Spanish on the map was largely for the amusement of white men. It says it says politically, Florida was in the hands of its new inhabitants. That it was colored Spanish on the map was largely for the amusement of white men. This is fucking crazy. It says generations before Thomas Jefferson sat down to write the Declaration of Independence, Florida's dark runways wrote their own. It used no paper or ink and was constructed for spears, arrows, and captured muskets. It says, but it issued a warning of keep out, all right, in quotations, keep out. It says, and leave us alone or else die. It said liberty to death. All right, now it's going into the Seminoles and the Southern Tribe Israelites. All right, so it's going into I believe the Reubenite. Slovakia. I don't like to get my shit wrong. Yeah, it's going into the Reubenites and the Negroes or the Southern tribes. All right, mainly the Negroes. All right, so it's going into the Southern tribe. I mean the Northern tribe and the Southern tribe. But it's talking about Reuben and Judah mainly. All right, it says around that time. It says Africans, but I'm gonna say around that time, Negro or Southern tribe Israelite settlers arrived in Florida. Refugees from the Creek Nation also settled there. This group called themselves Seminoles. See, so they already knew who they was biblically. All right, they knew, if they really knew, they would have just been like, well, yeah, I'm a Reubenite. But it says or runaways. It says, and their Musco G culture accepted a variety of Indian ethnic groups. It says Yuchi, uh, Hitichi, Hititi. It says Hitchi. Oh yeah, Hitchiti. It says Hitchiti and Alabama. It says for Seminole people used to admitting those who were different, it was easy to accept the Southern Tribe Israelites. The Southern Tribe Israelites proved far more familiar with Florida tropical terrain than the Spaniards or the Reubenites or Seminoles. It says these transplanted a rice cultivation method practicing Senegambia. It says Senegambia. It says they transplanted a rice cultivation method practiced in Senegambia and Sierra Leone. It says used to a more moderate climate, Seminoles began to learn how to survive in Florida from these ex-slaves. All right, so they was learning from the Southern Tribe Israelites, the Negros. It says from the beginning of Seminole cultivation in Florida, writes Opala in quotation. It says that the Indian may have depended upon the Southern tribe farmers for their cultivation. For their survival. It says the Seminole Nation offered their new friends some valuable gifts in return for helping them out, basically. It says the Southern Tribe Israelites and other ethnic groups enjoy an independent village status. It says their only obligation was to pay a small agricultural tax to be used for common defense. If Africans needed, well, if Southern Tribe Israelites needed something besides freedom, it was a strong defense against slave hunters from the north. To their tax was well spent. Georgia slaveholders were soon invading Florida, seeking their runaways, and were soon meeting a united resistance by red and black armed forces. It says black Seminoles, all right, so the darker color, uh, uh, northern tribe Israelites or Reubenites. All right, it says also, it says Black Seminoles tried to live a peaceful life in their towns and around their ceremonial plazas, ruled by their own ruled by their own chiefs, while they were shaping a sturdy agricultural community. It says British officers to the north provided weapons and military advisors for desperados ready to raid Florida for slave fugitives. So the Seminole, while the basically the northern tribe was building up their stuff with the help of the Negroes, the southern tribe Israelites, while they was building up their agriculture, family and things of that nature. Even they armed forces. You had this devil ready to invade these motherfuckers, and they said, "We just want peace. Leave us alone. Like, leave us the fuck alone." You know what I'm saying? But this devil, man, it says with hostile British forces closing in on its Florida border, Spain recruited anyone willing to fight these invaders. It says Florida became a Spanish zone protected by Native American and Negro warriors. It says assisted by a sprinkling of pirates, smugglers, and others. All right, because they had agricultural things going on, so they was making trades and stuff. Now it says this. It says in 1739, slave fugitives living in Saint Augustine built a fort to protect their families and stem British uh, incursions. It says Spain, with few of its own soldiers, was pleased to have their lands protected by these dark men. It says the English were furious about a fort guarded guarded by hundreds of armed Negroes and their Indian soulmates. They hated it. They don't like when we together, man. Let me read this scripture right quick. Just because that kind of made me laugh. It's Psalms 2 and 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? All right. It says, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. All right. Now let me go back. And these just the last couple paragraphs, only like 2 more paragraphs. My bad, I'm reading a little slow. I apologize. All right. So it says Black Seminoles play a vital part in the coalition against the slave power to the north. It says their knowledge of farming in Florida was second to none. It said they also brought the kind of information slaves always have about their masters' ways of thinking. It says one observer described them as stout and even gigantic, the finest looking people I have ever seen. It says they were also immune to the malaria and smallpox and devastated Indians and Europeans. It says British and because they probably had remedies and stuff. Remember, there's snakes out there. You know, you can have some maybe snake venom was to work against that. I don't know, but they had remedies though. It says British, they was immune to a I guess to a extent. It says British and then United States slaveholders were horrified by the strong relationships among red and black Seminoles. See, basically light brown and dark brown. All right. So when they say red and black, our people not red. All right. It say so. I'm just gonna say it says we're horrified by the strong relations among light brown and dark brown Seminoles. Each owed the other a measure of devotion and service, and this was hardly what whites had come to expect from the Negroes. It says the black Seminoles, or the darker Seminoles, had well-built homes and raised fine crops of corn, sweet potatoes, vegetables, and cotton. They owned herds of livestock and had time for hunting and fishing. They were known for their excellent fighting skills and major in the Georgia militia calling them the Seminoles' best soldiers. It says, by the 19th century, black Seminoles had become key advisors and valuable interpreters for the nation. They were familiar with English, Spanish, and the Muskogee or Hittite Seminole languages. It says not all Negro runaways from slavery lived among the Seminoles, for some had formed their own maroon settlements because they was popping their women. All right, Jake was out there, and vice versa. All right, so you had Jake, you had the Negro man, all right, the Southern tribe man, whether if he was Judah, Benjamin, or Levi, sleeping with the Reubenites. All right, he was sleeping with their people. And then you had the Reubenites, men that found our women pretty attractive. And hey, we married them off to them as well. So it was a mixing going on. All right. It says against slaveholders, however, it says, however, all united. So we was united. And then, after this, it goes into the first Seminole War. Yeah, it goes into the first Seminole War. I read that yesterday, and then today I'm gonna read the second. All right, but that's just to show you. That's just to show you, man, that these devils don't like us coming together. All right, they don't. When we come together, man, stronger. So let me see if I can. So yeah, man, it was crops going on. So Jake had ended up, helping them out with the agricultural. You know, they had ended up giving us they women, or vice versa, as well. And we became buddies. We was cool. You know what I'm saying? That's what this devil don't want today. But I had to show you that this devil had ended up taking our people, and even show you how they try to make the Seminoles try to take our people, and it show you how the Europeans tried to use the Seminoles to take our people and put them in slavery underneath them, but the fucking Seminoles wasn't happening. They ended up killing the motherfuckers, which was beautiful to read. I just wanted to see something. Let me see. It's Job 20:5. It says that the triumphant of the wicked is short and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Okay. Get another one. It's This is Psalm 7:9. It says, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just for the righteous." Salakia, let me go to it out here. I'm tripping, y'all. My bad. What was that one I was just now talking about? Psalm 7:9. Psalm 7:9. It says, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just for the righteousness of the Most High triumph the hearts and reigns." All right, it was some fucked up times we was going in, back then. And I just read the little agricultural part. All right. Yeah, I wanted to do that just to show you that this devil put our people back in that fucking location. It says, "In the evil of those who are wicked and defend the righteous, for you look deep within the mind and heart, O righteous power." Okay. Let me see. Let me grab this one. The Psalms 32:10. It says, "Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but he that trusteth in the Lord Yahweh mercy shall pass him about." I also want to get this. Oh, well, I end the video there. So all praise going to y'all. Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Krakodash. Until next time, Shalom.